guys, it's Bro You Whack, and I want to welcome you to Season 11, what I think is going to be one of the best seasons Overwatch 2 has ever seen. And it's off to a hot start because today we have a bunch of hero changes, including a remake of Cassidy's Flashbang Magnet Grenade. You're going to see what I mean. But more quickly, I am live on Twitch right now, where you can earn a free Hanzo skin just by watching my Twitch stream, and also this beautiful Kiriko spray in case you already have the Hanzo skin. But without further ado, let's finally look at all these hero changes and discuss who's gonna be good, but more importantly, who's gonna suck in Season 11. Spoiler alert, it's gonna be Hanzo. But first, let's look at a unique general change that's only gonna affect Reinhardt, Doomfist, Brigitte, Malgas, and Bobs running into each other, because knockdown time when two charged abilities collide with each other is gonna decrease from 2 seconds to 1.7 seconds. Now let's get into the individual hero changes. First, starting off with tank, where we're gonna have 4 tanks in total getting changed in Season 11, which includes my girl D.va, the Junker Queen, Orisa, and Roadhog. A lot of prominent tanks. But for D.va specifically, she's gonna be getting some relatively powerful changes. Now for her boosters, she's getting a slight damage increase to her impact damage from 15 damage to now 25 damage, but the fusion cannon weapon spread is decreasing from 3.75 degrees to 3.375 degrees. That, like, look, maybe that's just because I play D.va and any sort of buff is good, but that's massive. Charm Queen's also getting some relatively good changes as well, where her rampage is getting buffed, where the startup time is getting reduced from 0.75 seconds to 0.5 seconds, but it's the Jagged Blade that is getting the massive buff here, where if you pull a tank with Jagged Blade, it now pulls further. It doesn't say how much further, and that kind of depends if the tank is moving forward, back, left, or right, but still, being able to pull a tank now closer to you is really good. And while most people dread seeing an Orisa buff, this one's pretty small, where her Javelin Spin cooldown is getting reduced from 9 seconds to 8 seconds, so nothing that has to do with like sustainability really. But the final tank that desperately needed to get looked at is Roadhog, where his base health is getting decreased from 650 to now 600, but the take a breather damage reduction is getting decreased from 50% to now 40%. So some really good tank changes. I just would like to see maybe like a Reinhardt buff in there, but hey, still like these changes nonetheless. But now we're on to the DPS heroes that got changed in Season 11, which includes Cassidy, Mei, Reaper, Sojourn, and Symmetra. Now Cassidy is going to be the main star of these patch notes because he's getting a, I don't want to say full rework, but he's getting some changes done to his grenade, which they're going to be calling it his Flashbang Grenade. Really, Blizzard? Come on, man. Basically, when you throw your Flashbang Grenade, it no longer hones in and magnetizes to the enemy, but rather just explodes and does 45 damage, and it hinders the enemy for 1.2 seconds. You also still get the movement speed reduction, but instead of it being at 30%, it's now at 50%, and hinder also now prevents crouching for some reason, I guess for ADS spam, and the cooldown is going to be at 12 seconds now. The Flashbang Grenade is not the only thing that's getting changed. His Deadeye is getting a massive buff, where whenever you ult as Cassidy, while you still have a movement speed, it's getting decreased from 70% to now 35%. So while you're not Sonic the Hedgehog, you're like Iron Sonic the Hedgehog moving. The damage reduction also now scales over time, where previously it was at 40%, now it's at, well, 0%. His combat roll is getting a slight nerf, where the damage reduction while you're combat rolling is getting decreased from 75 damage reduction to now 50% damage reduction. And the final change is going to be to his Peacekeeper gun, where the secondary fire Fan the Hammer damage is getting reduced from 50 to 45, and I feel like it should be the other way because I don't see enough people using Fan the Hammer. I think they're reducing the damage because now Flashbang is going to work more like the OG Flashbang rather than a Magnet Grenade, so that's probably actually why they're reducing the damage. But the next hero up is my main girl, Mei, where I'm willing to take any single buff, and here they gave her a nerf and a buff. First of all, her secondary fire base projectile size decreased from 0.15 to 0.12, meaning that I can't just spam and get those lucky shots. However, the damage did increase from 75 to 85. So while you still can't one-shot headshot a tracer like you used to, you can get close. Here's Reaper's first set of changes where in a later season, he's probably going to get a rework to his Shadow Step, but in the meantime, his Hellfire weapon spread is getting decreased from 0.65 to 6, which is making it a lot tighter of a shot, just like D.va's buff. And another massive buff is to his Shadow Step, where the casting time is getting reduced from 1.5 seconds to now 1.2 seconds. So it's going to be a lot quicker to be able to teleport and get to places and also yell, "Death!" Now, the Canadian railer herself, Sojourn, got some changes, and just look at these laundry list of changes, and look at what you can now do. You can now shoot through multiple enemies with your railgun without having to overclock, and you shoot a lot quicker now with your primary fire because they increased it from 14 bullets to now 16. However, you do less damage with your railgun because they decrease the damage scaling from 30 to 130 to now 1 to 100 because you could shoot through multiple people. That's the reality. And they also buffed your overclock ultimate, increasing the charge rate from 100 per second to now 120. Symmetra is getting some powerful changes here, where the base health of Symmetra is getting increased from 100 to 125. Now, this is not her shield health, it's just her regular base health, so it's not as good as it could be. However, her photon projector primary fire charge rate is getting a massive buff where they're increasing it by 25%. You get to level 3 beam a lot quicker, and you're a lot beefier to be at the front line, meaning that I think Symmetra is going to be a whole lot better in Season 11, I'll tell you that. Well, those were all the DPS heroes getting changed in Season 11. Now let's look at the support heroes, which is going to include Illari and Kiriko. Only 2 support heroes getting changed. Now, Illari is getting some very interesting balance changes. For her healing piling, she's getting 3 in total, where the healing per projectile got increased from 30 to 40, which is awesome. However, whenever the healing pylon targets Illari, it's cut in half, so you only heal for 20 heal every single projectile that's shot to her. But the max health of the healing pylon increased from 100 to now 125, which is awesome because oftentimes I feel like that thing just goes away too quick. And the final change is going to be a damage increase to her outburst ability, where they're increasing it from 10 to 25. Wait, that's actually huge for her. And if you hate Kiriko, which surprisingly a lot of people do, or you're going to be happy to hear that they're going to be nerfing her in Season 11, where the protection Suzu no longer cleanses hard knockback stuns. Knockdown stuns like Reinhardt's Earth Shatter or Reinhardt's pinning into each other, Marga's Slam, you know, that kind of thing. However, this still will cleanse sleeping targets, so if an Ana sleeps your teammate and you throw a cleanse on your teammate, it'll still wake them up. And her Swift Step cooldown is increasing by 1 second. Previously, it was at 7 seconds. Now, it's gonna be at 8 seconds. Wow, those were all of the Season 11 hero changes that came out today, and I'm laughing because I feel like those were some pretty big changes, especially for like Sojourn and especially Cassidy, and even the nerf to Kiriko. Symmetra's buff was beefy as well. Like, these weren't just small changes in my opinion that I feel like will definitely shake up the meta, but I want to know what you guys think. Who do you think is going to be the best hero to play in Season 11? Do you think Symmetra's finally going to be meta? Just let me know in the comments down below. And again, be sure to go check out my Twitch stream so you can get this free Hanzo skin. But until then, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.